Hey guys, I'm back! So welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Yes, it's been a few days. It feels like it's been forever. I missed you guys. Did you guys miss me? Because I missed you. So I got so many questions while I was on leave, and I really appreciate the questions because it made material for today's Q&A Tuesday, original Q&A Tuesday episode. And I'm going to be talking about that as well as just catching you guys up and letting you know what's been going on because it's just like, oh, all this time and I got to catch you guys up. Also, I know that you guys have been like patience on a monument waiting for me to come up with the next episode of the modifiers. Okay, so I'm going to shoot that one after I shoot this one because, again, I want to keep the videos organized. So, but yes, we're going to be talking about modifier 25 today because I like to talk about that one. That one is a huge source of debate at work sometimes. So we're going to get into it. But so just to catch you guys up on what's been going on, I recognize in myself that there are times that I need to take time out for me. And giving yourself permission to do this is really big because I never used to give myself permission to do this. I always felt sort of guilty about taking any time for myself, and it's just me. Okay, I don't have a family, so I don't have all of the pressures that a lot of parents do, and it's understandable. You guys have so much more going on, but at the same time, I have to do everything myself. I mean, everything gets done by me. If I don't do it, it doesn't get done. So this is why sometimes it's good to realize that you need to take a step back, and having lots of energy to do what I do takes energy. And in order to maintain that energy, I have to stay charged up. So I took time off, and I take time off. Like I said, I always take time off this time of year because it's very sentimental to me. And I just go for a drive, and I will go out of town and just sort of stay in a hotel. I did it again. I did it last weekend, and I did it again this past weekend. And it was really nice because, you can just sort of step out of the norm and just step out of your everyday routine. And I miss my boys. I miss the people that I work with. And I'll be able to see them tomorrow because tomorrow it's back to reality. So I only have a half week, but this half week is going to be really full because I have a class tomorrow morning to give to some PA students, which is very exciting for me. I'm very excited. I was very honored when they asked me to do the class. One of the PAs that I really really enjoy working with, asked me if I would speak to the students. So I was like, yes, hello. So this has been on the books for a little while now too. We've actually had this on the books for like almost 3 months now. So, but this was just a time that they could schedule me in. So I'm very excited to talk to them tomorrow because having that good first impression exposure to coders is very important, I think, for any provider, because it does shape how certain providers will treat their coders. Because if they have a good experience with a good coder, then they're going to know, okay, they're here to help me. This is going to be a good relationship, and we're going to work together to make sure that everything gets done. And then sometimes, you may get, the opposite. So this is why I always want to make sure that I'm giving them a good impression of what a good coder is like. So, and then Friday, I have a class with one of my favorite clinics, ortho. So this is going to be a catch up with them because some of the questions, and I hear these same questions often because they'll stop me and they'll ask me, hey, can you remind me? So I'll remind them for whatever question that they're asking. So what I did was I compiled a whole list of all of their most frequently asked questions, and we're going to go over them on Friday. So a good time for some downtime before all of that, right? So I'm excited about it. I'm always excited. And I got my slides approved, which finally, thank goodness. Because whenever I give a presentation, I have to have the slides, right? I have to do the slides, and I have to work with PowerPoint. It's a good thing I know how to do PowerPoint now, because in the beginning it wasn't so much fun, okay? But I finally got them approved before I went on leave last week. And sometimes with doing slides and talking with my boss, it's a lot of the information is good, everything is there, everything's solid, but it's just like she starts with the little things like, oh, this font is too big, or maybe you should reword it this way. So it's just like, is the information sound? That's all I need to know. Is the information sound, and can you sign off on these? And so we work it out, and eventually, she signs off on it, and I'm able to give these presentations. But that added part, I mean, I know her heart's in the right place, but it's just like sometimes I just want to, let's just get this done. Let's just be more efficient and get this rolling. Because all I need to know is the information sound? That's it. All the other stuff can be touched up and prettied up, but not so much that you're going to go back and forth about it so many times. I'm not a fan of that. But like I said, we got it all worked out. So it's all ready to go. I got all the slides printed and everything before I left, because I said I am not going to rush at the last minute. This class is going to be at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it's just like, okay, I need to be ready to go, because I'm not going to sit here and just be dawdling, So I'm prepared for that. So that's what I did. And also, I got the news today that my friend from Italy is going to be at the conference this year. So I'm very excited. I didn't get to see her last year, but I get to see her this year. And I'm so excited because I get to see her every single year except for last year. So, but anyway, I'm so excited to see her. And she was like, oh, I'm going to be there. And I'm like, yay! So, before I go on conference, I usually slow down on any spending, right? Because I want to be able to save as much money as I can before I go to conference, so that way I can spend whatever I want when I'm over there. But I do have to get a new luggage, which I have been looking for, and I've spent part of my leave looking for luggage. Because I have my hard case, which I love my hard case, and I'm going to do a packing video so y'all can see everything that goes into what happens when I pack. But I do have my hard shell case. What I do is I have to have another case. So in this other case is the one that's going to bring back all of the stuff, everything that I get at conference. So, but I did, so I didn't find it today. I didn't find my big luggage today, but I did find my plane ride bag. I went to Victoria's Secret today. Look, isn't this so pretty? I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna have this as my carry-on because I don't like anything big and bulky, and I don't like lifting anything heavy into the overhead, even though I usually do get help. I don't like that. I mean, it's just so like, ugh. And like, you're so tired at the end. It's just like, no. I just want to be able to pack what I need. So this bag should be big enough. See? It's got plenty of room. It's a pretty color. And it's a backpack, which I was like, oh my God, this is so cute. And the best part about it, I had a lot of coupons. So I had my frequent buyer from Victoria's Secret card, little payback rewards or whatever. And then I had another coupon, so brought the price down. That's the best part. That's what I love. And so you always got to be smart when you're looking and you're traveling. You got to be smart, and you got to, make sure that you count every dollar and make sure that you're paying attention to where your money's being spent, because it does get expensive if you don't watch it. So, but yeah, that's what I did today on that. So now let's get to the questions before I continue talking about travel and my bag and everything. Oh, which I was going to get the countdown days, dang it. But it is, we are like getting to that time really quick. So The AHIMA 2019 conference is this year in Chicago, Illinois. Beautiful Chicago, Illinois. Home of the American Health Information Management Association. And it starts on September 14th, which is a pre-conference. And I don't know how many days that is. And September 15th is the kickoff when everybody gets in and they have the big welcoming ceremony and they open up the exhibit hall. So I'm excited and I cannot wait. And like I said, by the time you know it, we will be there. And like, we're already on what, the 13th today? So it's just like, wow. It's like this month is just flying by. Like, I swear it just started and then all of a sudden it just like poof. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the questions. So number one, can having an unrelated bachelor's degree help with asking for a higher salary or pay bumps? It depends on how and where. Again, it depends on where you are applying. If you are, and how you are planning to incorporate your degree in with being a medical coder. Now, I have seen nurses who go from nursing, they don't want to be a nurse anymore, so they want to be a medical coder. So they'll bring that knowledge and they say, well, I have a bachelor's degree in nursing, and that usually, like, you know, their light bulbs go on like, ooh, this is a good person because, you know, this is a person that obviously is in the medical field already and they know what we're doing and, you know, things like that. The problem comes when sometimes when nurses get into that nurse mode and they're in there reading a chart and they need to get into coder mode, okay? Because coder mode and nurse mode is two different things, okay? Because remember, we can't take a lot of anything, much of anything from the nurse's documentation anyway. Like BMI, we can get from the nurse. A few other things we can get from the nurse, but we can't get pretty much anything else from the nurse, okay? So that's something to be aware of, you know. How are you going to incorporate that? If you are not a nurse and maybe you have a business degree, you know, you can say, well, I have a bachelor's degree in business, or I have an associate's degree in business. And, you know, I understand the you know, the business side of the house and things like that. And when it comes to, you know, being a medical coder, you know, hopefully we can marry the two. And so maybe that might spark a little bit in whoever you're applying with. Same thing for, you know, advertisers, you know, people who have a degree in advertising, same thing, you know. What was the other one I was thinking of? Shoot. I was thinking of one other good example, and I'm sure it'll come to me. But yeah, whatever degree you have, if you have another degree in something else and you've transitioned into being a medical coder and you think that talent can marry up very well with being a medical coder, then by all means go for it. Now I remember what I was going to say. So if you're an educator and then you've decided to become a medical coder, which I have gotten a few emails from educators who have decided to go into the medical coding field, which I think is good because they understand the importance of studying. What's so good about being an educator and being a medical coder is you know how to teach a class. And that's something that is hard for some medical coders to do because they aren't used to having to do that. Okay, so not all medical coders have to give classes. Some facilities will have a clinical documentation improvement specialist who is chiefly responsible for doing that kind of thing, or they'll have like a supervisor or a lead, you know, take care of that kind of thing. So when you have that, then maybe you don't have to. There's coders out there like me that will make it their business to educate their providers themselves, because I don't like to rely on anybody else to talk to my providers to educate them. I need to be the one to educate them. They need to be able to work with me. They need to be able to know that they can come to me and ask me questions. Because if you have too many different people talking to providers, it confuses them and they get very frustrated very quickly. So this is why I have always maintained that if they have any questions, they need to come to me. And I usually do email them before I go on leave as well, if I'm gone for like an extended amount of time. And I tell them, if you have a question that cannot wait, then you can reach out to my supervisor. If it can wait, just email me and I will get back to you as soon as I get back. because and it's not so that I can keep a tight rein on them. It's just so that all of the information, I know what I told them, and they can't say that so-and-so said this or so-and-so said that. They can't do that. If it comes from one source, then it comes from one source, and like I said, there's not, there's some people there's some coders that just don't care to do education. So if you are an educator, you should put that on there. You should put that on your resume. I was an educator for this many years, and I've decided to transition to medical coding, and I am, able to come up with lesson plans and things like that. So, educating providers and communicating with them is not going to be an issue. So just think of a creative way to marry all of your talents into, selling the perfect package. You want to package yourself very well and present yourself very well as far as like your knowledge and your demeanor and how you're coming across. Those are all really big things. So just something to keep in mind if you have another degree and you're a medical coder. All right, next question. Are there different code sets for different credentials? No. The same ICD-10 book, the same CPT book, the same HCPCS book is all the same books that's being used for each one of the credential exams. So it doesn't change. Everybody's on ICD-10, everybody's on CPT, everybody's on HCPCS. The same thing. The only thing that may be different is like different associations is different versions of the book. Okay, so just make sure that when you are going to go take your exam, that you do have the correct version, the correct year, okay, when you're going to go take your exam. Okay, those are very important. But yes, everybody's in ICD-10. Those codes are universal until they hit us with ICD-11. I don't want to think about that right now. So, but yeah, that is that. All right, next question. How do I get back into the field after a long absence? And this question is for people who have been a medical coder like in 2006, 2007, anytime before ICD-10 kicked in, okay? If you got your credential before ICD-10 kicked in, if you are still only familiar with ICD-9, you really should consider doing a refresher, okay? Because coding has changed. I mean, we're in a complete different code set. And it is not impossible to learn this new code set because I went through a couple programs and I understand it, but it's, if you are truly devoted as a coder to learning and the process of learning, the transition to ICD-10 is sort of the same process, the same as far as like the learning part of it, okay? So like I said, different rules for ICD-10, but the way that you learn is the same, So as far as like reading your coding guidelines and then looking stuff up in the index and then going into your tabular section and that kind of thing, that's what I mean. So if you are interested in getting back into the field, there's a lot of new stuff, but CPT is still the same. The only thing that's different is for inpatient procedures is completely different. It's the PCS now. So again, if you got your medical coding certificate back in ICD-9 times, you really should consider doing a refresher course, okay? Because it's very important. All right, next question. Certification versus certificate from a college or technical school. All right, so we've talked about this previously. If you complete a program from a technical school, a college, or something like that, okay, or like one of these online schools, like, from any of these other online schools, other than from the medical coding associations themselves, AHIMA or AAPC, other than those two, okay? I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about these other guys, okay? Sometimes they'll give you a certificate that says that you have completed a medical billing and coding program. This is not the same as sitting for a nationally recognized medical coding credential, okay? That medical coding credential, and you'll be able to know that there's a difference, because when you sit for this exam, you will be able to have those credentials after your name, okay? You carry that after your name. With a certificate, that is just saying that you completed a program. That is not the same, because that's not going to have, it is going to tell your employer that yes, you went through a program and that you completed it and you passed all your tests, but it is not what most are looking for, okay? There may be some, I'm not going to say all, okay, but there may be some that will say, yeah, sure, we'll take that, and you don't have to be credentialed. There's a huge difference. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. If you are not sure, be sure to ask your instructor what's going on and what are you going to get after you finish. Or is a certification exam included with your course? Okay, that's very important to ask. Okay, so and the last question is, can you get hired with a coding certificate, or do you need a degree? You can get hired with a coding certificate, like a credential. Being a medical coder does not require a college degree. Now, there are people who have college degrees for like RHIT or RHIA, and those are very good to have. I mean, but those are for like if you want to advance into more of the management side of the house. Those are like if you want to run the hospital, like RHIA is for like if you want to run hospitals and things like that. Those are like the big leagues, you know. Those are when having those kind of degrees is really going to help, because if you're truly devoted and you want to do more, that's a good place to start, is having those degrees. But no, to get a job as a medical coder, they're genuinely looking for a certificate. Not certificate, but a credential. So, and experience. And experience, they are looking for that too. So, yes. But yeah, that was it for Q&A Tuesday. And like I said, I know I'm going to do the modifiers one next for modifier 25, but yes. I just wanted to catch you guys up and let you guys know that I did miss you guys, and so I will be back in a couple of minutes to do my next video, and I'll upload that as soon as it's done. And I will see you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's episode. So, if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey through medical coding. Oh, and one more thing. If you are curious on how to get started as a medical coder, which I have gotten this question, maybe I got that email like 6 times, 6 different people. If you are interested in becoming a medical coder, do your research. Go to ahima.org or aapc.com, and I always include both Medical Coding Association addresses in the description box below. So if you are interested, those are the places to start looking. All right? So, and I will see y'all on my next video. Bye!